Jillian, although the Senate failed to pass a bill that would end the shutdown, the Trump administration is still pushing ahead to strike a deal on border security and immigration. Yesterday, the White House hosted several Latino groups. Our next guest attended that meeting with Jared Kushner, says the president is ready to negotiate. Daniel Garza is president of Libre Initiative, and he joins us now with insight on the administration's next move. Good morning to you. Tell us about that meeting and what was the conversation?
Thank you, Ainsley. Good morning. I felt a very constructive, very productive meeting with Jared Kushner and his staff, a couple of policy guys, and the discussion was, how do we get, the negotiations revved up, right, to where we can get to a space where there is agreement on both sides, where both sides are satisfied and both sides feel like they can get a win out of this, so we can open up the government, basically, and of course, resolve two issues at the same time that are a priority for the left and a priority for the right.
One of Jared Kushner's proposals is the Dreamers can stay. All 1.8 million Dreamers can stay if the president gets $25 billion for the wall. Did you hear him say that?
Well, that was a proposal that was offered up by the president last year also as well, and that, I think, continues to be on the table. But right now what we're talking about is a very narrow bill that would address the DACA community now and trade it basically for what the president is asking for, which is a $5.7 billion that includes some infrastructure. And what we wanted to stress to Mr. Kushner was that what's important here is that the end game include certainty for the Dreamers. In other words, that there would be a path to legalization so that we wouldn't have to have this discussion 3 years later, and that the Dreamers can also plan their lives, plan their future, take control of their own destiny, right? And so that their employers and their educators wouldn't have to worry about, where they're going to be at 3 years from now. I think it's important to provide that kind of certainty so that they can flourish and they can contribute to our economy like millions of immigrants have done before them.
So I know you told our producers that Jared told you his people have met with Nancy Pelosi's people. What did he say about that? Did he say Nancy Pelosi is willing to give a little bit?
Yeah, so here's the thing. There's been a lot in the news that this administration has not had discussions with the other side, and Jared was very clear that actually his team has had meetings. In fact, over the weekend, across the street, they had meetings with Nancy Pelosi's people and Chuck Schumer's people, and that they've been trying to open up and rev up negotiations. And that is really what is required, again, to get to a solution here.
What did he say? Can you tell me more details about that? Did he say he thinks that maybe they will budge, they will give a little bit of money for the wall?
Well, actually, according to Jared, that there's been very little headway in actually revving up the negotiations, and that's where they want to be. When they made the offer, when the president made the offer for the $5.7 billion for 3 years of temporary status for the DACA community, that was with the intent of revving up negotiations, and now they're still waiting on the Democrats to come forward and make a counter offer so we can get to that space where there is agreement and, of course, both sides can get their priorities passed. Look, I think the president feels that he was elected to enhance border security, and the Democrats feel that they were elected to pass DACA legislation. We have a solution here, and it's actually by bringing both together and agreeing on these two important critical issues for the American people.
Yeah, I know the approval rating amongst Hispanics has gone up for this president, so we'll have to continue to follow this story. Hopefully they can come to a resolution, some sort of a compromise. Yeah, I think all of us are hoping that. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.